weekly. I think we'll address the elephant in the room first of all. Craig's obviously, we're lucky he's turned up this week. He's banned all Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
Ed didn't turn up, I know.
There's someone else missing.
Ed's still out drinking.
He was pulling what's left of his hair out.
Rumour has it Ed's still sat in front of the telly, staring at it blankly.
Oh, it was.
I've got to say, I would have loved to see his reaction video after the game. But
he couldn't hold the phone. He was so drunk after watching that show.
Lads, there's no other place to start than there. But before we go into the obvious, let's start with Liverpool. I mean, they've gone away to United, given them one of their 3 heaviest defeats in the Premiership. That was a real statement from them. Salah, again, at times just unplayable. What do you think, Shane? Is that them? Are they favourites now for the title for you?
Listen, I was obviously confident in ourselves and thought we stand a chance, But Liverpool, as you mentioned, they're unplayable at the moment. Salah is, if you're going, he's... A few weeks ago, I was all Lewandowski, Ballon d'Or, but the last 3-4 weeks, he's shaking it up a little bit, hasn't he? You can't overlook him now based on current form, considering he's carried it on the back of last year and everything. I think I read today in all competitions, 20 plus goals and assists already this season. It's not even November.
Half of them were against us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, look, they were shit hot the other day. Now, in saying that, United, they didn't defend, they didn't play, they may as well have not turned up. But Liverpool, every time they went forward, it looked like they could score another goal. They're unplayable on their day, them 3, and obviously Salah himself. But the job Firmino does is just amazing. His link up play, the space he creates. Klopp was saying, he is the false 9 at the moment. He doesn't get the recognition he deserves, and he's dead right, to be honest. I thought they looked really good.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there's a sort of I don't know if it's a myth, but Liverpool fans like to say, we're a bit thin in the squad and this sort of stuff. But let's be honest, they got players like Firmino, who hasn't been a regular this season. He's a top player. He is coming slotted in. Jota is in and out of the side. I mean, are they starting? Do you think they got enough to last a stretch in their squad?
I don't know, really. I raised this issue a while ago, with the African Cup of Nations coming up. And, so you've mentioned Jota and Firmino. The other 2 obviously up there, Salah and Mane, who both will miss league football with the African Cup of Nations.
Yeah.
And I'm right, I don't think Mane is retired yet. So there's 2, right? So you've got Jota and Firmino that'll come in, but who plays the other position up front? Who's the other one that slots in there that has had regular football? Nobody really. They had Shaqiri and then they sold him in the summer. Not Liverpool standard, but Premier League standard, who would have come right in. I do think, you look at their midfield then. They've got, obviously, Henderson, Milner, Fabinho, Curtis Jones, Keita, who scored the weekend, who he will be missing as well. So you have 3 positions, and again, I've named 4 players for those 3 positions. I do still think they're a little bit tight, but the Liverpool of 2 years ago, if you remove last year's kind of capitulation for a few months, they grind results and they get results, and they look like that team again. They just look so on form that I think they'll make it last, but I do think they're possibly a little bit too tight, a little bit too thin.
Craig, you look like a man waiting to be sentenced, to be fair.
Just get it over with.
Let's get over it. I mean, United's performance, in a word, probably shambolic, weren't it? But how much is down just... I mean, listen, Ollie's got to shoulder a lot of the blame there. Tactically, they was inept. But player-wise, I mean, those players, some of them were coasting in a game as big as that. It's arguably one of the biggest derbies in world football. Now, if you need a certain someone in the dugout to get you up for that sort of game, what can the manager do? If you can't get up for that game, then what game can you get up for?
This is going to be a tough one. It was disgusting. Honestly, like, it was one of the worst games I've ever watched. And United have had some awful games over the years, of course, and some shocking results. Like, we've lost by big margins in the past as well, but this, they just offered nothing. They didn't look like they gave a shit. Like, it was one of the most disgusting, embarrassing performances I've ever seen. I think it was always going to happen. It was coming. Over the last couple of weeks, we've scraped results against average teams. It was only a matter of time before we came up against one of these big ones. When we didn't have that, we had a fairly easy enough start to the season, and we didn't finish them off. We didn't look strong, and now we're coming into this stretch of games where I think it's going to be embarrassing. It's going to be very tough. On the player thing, like, I know Pogba was only on for a couple of minutes, but I am sick to death of people telling me that he's fucking world class. Like, I don't give a shit what he does at France. He goes there and he plays a couple of weeks a year. I see him every week at Man United. I have never seen world class. I've seen games where he has stood out as very, very good. He has had some really top games, but there's no consistency in him at all. You look at Salah, you look at Lewandowski, you look at Messi, Ronaldo. These have done it week in, week out over long stretches of time for that club and that country. Pogba is fucking average at Man United, and I'm sick of people almost blaming the team around him. He looks like he makes no effort. He doesn't show up in big games, and I'm sick of seeing it and hearing people say he's world class. They're the people that don't watch United games week in, week out. Then we've Maguire, who turns like a fucking oil tanker. He's wrestling our own players as if he's in the middle of a Royal Rumble or something like that. Like,
I think I've the wrong background on again this week, don't I?
Yeah, you can get another few photos on that. He is shocking. Now, I do think he's good enough to play for us, but he needs to lose that captaincy. He's not a leader. He makes mistakes, and I'm sick of seeing him pointing at other players, trying to blame them all the time. He steamrolled Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw was coming straight at the ball, could have cleared it, and fucking that brick wall just fucking stumbles over him. Like, it's embarrassing. Your captain cannot be the reason why you concede so many goals. I'm sick of seeing it. I have a few here I can go through, so I can go through this whole thing because
I'm happy to watch you vent, actually. So
it is bad. Yeah.
I'll be back in a minute.
Right, yeah, you go get a coffee, I'll take over. Wan-Bissaka, he is average at best. He offers very little going forward, and because he's out of position so much, he's constantly caught out in defence. I am sick of hearing people say he's so good at tackling. He has to throw himself into every tackle because he's late. He doesn't read the play well. Look at Maldini, all these other players. They were able to read the game better. Van Dijk, all of these. He has to throw himself in last-ditch attempts to get the ball. I'm sick of seeing it. McTominay and Fred are like Poundland DMs. Like, they're so shite and average. Like, how many times did they get the ball and they just pass it to the other team and there's no one around them, or they boot the ball out? Fred got the ball and literally just kicked it straight out. Like, there was no one even around him. Then you have Luke Shaw, who was quality for about 8 months out of the last 6 years, and now he's going back to what the old Luke Shaw was. You look at Ollie signings. I have a list here. Tellez can't get a game. Van de Beek can't get a game. Sancho, chasing him for 2 years, he can't get a game. Diallo was going to be sent out on loan. Pellistri was sent out on loan. Dan James bought and sold within a year. Varane and Ronaldo are new. Bruno's the only one that's really worked. Like, Maguire's been all right, but like, he's not for 80 million. He's knocking out our players in every game. David De Gea is our best fucking player of the season for, like, again. That says something when your goalie is your best player. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Well, you touched on...
Go on.
Sorry.
Well, I have to jump in here because there is so many overrated players at United. It is, I mean, you can blame Pot on the coach. All it is, he's probably got to go back to Oslo for a little while and start, coaching some kids there. But to be fair, the transfer strategy, if we look away from, Ronaldo and some of the recent success, the transfer strategy at United must have been one of the most tragic ones. You snatch Varane from us, but other than that, Maguire, first of all, he is, I think I cannot believe my own eyes that he's the world's most expensive defender.
He's a national hero, all right? So just steady on.
He is very good for
I mean, does it not take more than that to be a national hero?
Not
How is
really.
he the national hero? Surely. I mean, to him, and you can keep Pogba, we don't want him in Real Madrid, please. Do not send him down.
Take him, his L1 and his brother. I'm sick of listening to all that.
But it's funny, you just touched on there as well, the transfer policy. Since Solskjaer has come in, United lead the league in net spend. They've spent just over £320 million. Now, I do still feel like United fans, clearly not in this chat, but are somewhat split over whether he stays or goes. It was same from the weekend. I mean, you saw half of the stadium left. They probably had a long journey back to London. The other half stayed in and supported him and was singing for him and still after his autograph and what have you, and did seem like they had some support for him. But is there not a danger? The people in the Ollie in camp, should you not want more than improvement on the last manager from 321 million net spend? Is it good enough? Is that good enough for a club like Manchester United just to improve, considering the amount of money they spent? In comparison to some of the other clubs who have spent less, won trophies, or have spent better in different areas and are now doing better.
I know I've been I talk harshly on Ollie. I would love nothing more than for Ollie to be the man, because he is a United man. He played there. He loves the club. He's passionate. We could rely on him for years and years. There'd be no worries about him getting poached by another club. But
oh no, definitely not.
But if he did well,
second division Norway.
I think you're safe there.
Assuming he did well, people weren't interested. I think he's a United man, and it's good to have somebody that has that love for the club, not just someone that's coming in to do a job. But you have to look at the results. Yeah, the money we're spending. We had to overhaul a whole squad. Our squad was fucking dire at one point.
Still is, mate.
It still is. But a lot of work was done on it, and it has got better. But as I listed off a lot of people that we brought in, and after a year, one is sold, and after a year or two, most of them are sitting on the bench. Bruno is the best signing we've made. Varane is looking like a good signing. Maguire's looking average. Wan-Bissaka's looking average. It's just not been good enough. Across the
Danish,
board,
what's the sort of vibe from Europe towards sort of Ollie? What's the opinion? Because we're seeing it from here. I mean, we've got all the media. Everything I've seen today is Ollie out in the media, pressure on him. I'm seeing conflicting reports that they're behind him. Then today they're thinking about sacking him, and all of these things going on. What's the sort of view from Europe? What's from the continent?
The mainland. I mean, I think what I've read today is, he has 3 more games to prove himself. And that sort of thing, he's going to get another chance. But God, have you heard that a lot? Every time I read that, I think to myself, another chance. This guy is a dog with all these, or a cat with all these lives that he keeps having. But it has been a lot about, him getting a second chance and him not being fired yet. So it's been the other way on I think, at least in the Scandinavian media, is that they are going to give him another chance, but that's it. And I just want to touch upon it because I think there's a lot of our, boyhood heroes. We're not old yet, but we're getting there. Our boyhood heroes, Zinedine Zidane, having a massive record, run in Real Madrid twice. being the same sort of person as Ole. There's a couple of other players that are sitting. Rangers coach, probably making his way back to the Premier League at some point. Some have it and some don't, and I don't think Ole have it. I don't think he has the squad either. I think you got to watch out by bringing in Ronaldo because he's going to be a presence. You know that just by seeing his sideline behavior. So he can be good for the team and he can be very bad. And I think it's turning right now. I don't think he's going to be the positive influence because I think he's going to go against the coach. Pogba the same. I read today that he stays if Ole goes. So it is just I think it's a riot, and in the dressing room, I don't think he's going to survive that. But 2 more games, if he wins all of them, I still think he's going to be out by next year at least. They got to find another one.
Yeah. Shane, I mean,
sorry, go on.
You're a Chelsea fan. You know all about getting rid of managers. Prematurely, shall we say? We're always one Chelsea manager away from Christmas, anyway. So, but listen, isn't it refreshing in this day and age that actually a manager's under pressure, not getting the results, but seems like hasn't yet lost the dressing room, although some people watching that game would have said he already has. Is it not refreshing to see a board stick behind their man rather than in this modern world, quick fix and a new manager's in, pay off and let's get someone else?
I think you got to look at this from 2 different angles. It is refreshing to see that. But I think it's unjust in this situation. I think if it was a manager with a track record, you would say fair play to them for, giving them benefit of the doubt, give them a few more weeks, another month or 2 to turn it around. It's a bad run. We have been scraping results. Let's see if he can change the style of play. However, his track record is mould and getting sacked by Cardiff. That's not the kind of manager that, in my opinion, deserves a 2nd, 3rd, 4th chance at Man United. Man United are arguably the biggest club in the world, the biggest sporting brand franchise. Like, they're everywhere. Everybody knows Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the man. I've read a lot about Ferguson. He has Ferguson's support and some of the other board members, which led me to the one question: did Ferguson not retire like 10 fucking years ago? Why is he still making decisions and involved in the club?
Yeah. Okay,
fair enough. It's probably a good thing for United fans because the Glazers know sweet fuck all about anything football related. But as I said, 2 different angles. It's good, but in my opinion, he needs to go. I think, look, I wasn't too happy with Lampard being sacked, but that's the emotional aspect of it. That's the emotional tie. It was Frank Lampard. However, we were top on December 4th last year after beating Leeds, and when he left at the end of January, we were 10th. I think we picked up like 4 points or 5 points out of like 27.
It's brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not good enough. We were still about 20 places above you. But listen, take the emotional aspect out of it. Forget that he was a Manchester United legend. Like, take it out of it, and he's gone. Do you understand? I think that's the way you need to look at it. He's not good enough. He's not going to bring success to that team. Craig has mentioned a few times, he has steadied the ship. He has slightly improved, but steadying a ship and slightly improving isn't going to win you trophies. It's not.
I mean, has he improved though? We're talking about improvement. And I think we touched on it last week, but he's improved compared to Jose Mourinho's final season in charge.
Yeah,
where the wheels came off. But if you actually look at his tenure before that, I mean, is an improvement. What is that? What is judged as an improvement? He hasn't. I don't think
it's essentially been an improvement. Mourinho came out and said that season he had with United was probably his greatest ever achievement, and people laughed at him. But looking back on it now, he might be fucking right. And look, Danish touched on it there. I think Ollie's lost his way. I mentioned it last week. Bringing Ronaldo back was a great signing for the Premier League, but I thought it was a bad signing for United because he holds already more power than Solskjaer. I've seen the clip, or you seen him on live TV gesturing like this, and that's what Ollie does on the sideline. Who's he giving out about? You've seen him storm down the tunnel after the Everton game. You've seen him standing on the sideline barking orders. This man has more power than Solskjaer. This man already holds more influence in the dressing room. Then you throw in, as Danish said, the whole Pogba fucking issue, the scandal every year. You know, who is Bruno going to be more loyal to, Solskjaer or Ronaldo? I know who. Do you know what I mean? I think there will be. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think there'll be a split in that dressing room very, very soon, and I'm just absolutely fucking raging. Ollie's been given 3 games, and we played him in like 5. Hopefully we get to 5 games, because you know, a new manager comes in. United might play well for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then they go back to the same old shite again. But I would love to. I'd love to put the nail in Ollie's coffin there. You know, give him a good spanking.
Well,
don't
saying
forget,
that, I mean,
people hold one of those 5-0 wins over United from years ago. So another one of them would be nice. What, Craig?
We're saying that. I mean, you look at the upcoming fixtures. If you look at the upcoming fixtures, you got United away to Spurs, away to Atlanta, home to City, away to rejuvenated Watford, away to Villarreal, away to Chelsea, home to Arsenal. Now, I mean, is there a danger that United season, both in Europe, their aspirations, and domestically, could be all but done in the next, 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
You know, 9 games into the league, I didn't expect us to actually win the league this season, but I would have hoped, considering we've finished well in the last 2 seasons, that we would have at least been competitive to the end. I think that's almost done. I know it's harsh. I know it's only 9 games in. I get that argument, but a lot of damage has been done so early in this season. I think we'll struggle to finish top 4, to be honest, unless something drastic happens. Like either there's a fucking complete change of things under Ollie, or they bring someone in and they have that new manager bounce. And then we address this defensive mid position in January or something and get absolutely destroyed in the transfer market, paying over the odds for someone. In Europe, we scraped the win against Atalanta. We're on top of that group, but there was nothing convincing in any of those games. We could very easily lose the next 3 games in that group. It's a worrying time, because for the players we have, the expectations are high, and we're just completely under-delivering. The manager, the coaching staff, the players, everything. So it could go really bad over the next couple of weeks. I wouldn't be shocked if Ollie got results in the next couple of games, and that gives them a bit more time. But sooner or later, this patch where we do shit for 10, 12 games is going to come back again. You know, because there is no plan B. He doesn't change anything. That's a problem. If we were losing but we had good performances, we could understand as fans. Would be like, they're playing well. It's just going to take time to click. But they're playing so shit. There's nothing good at the minute. So yeah.
You think it's a level of naivety, Craig? Like, I think any other top manager in the league, 2-0 down after 20 minutes, would have probably made a fucking substitution. I mean, we need to alter this.
So we were 4-0 down against Liverpool, and he didn't make a change until the 50-something minute. Like,
that's what I mean. Yeah, surely after the first 20 minutes, I was sitting there thinking, he has to fucking change something.
Exactly.
Even if he goes 7 at the back, he needs to do something.
It is very naive. Like, we're playing 4 at the back and 2 sitting midfielders, but we're conceding more goals than most teams at the minute. We're conceding in every game. It's not working. Close up shop. Stop Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw going forward so much. Just be hard to score against. Do you know what I mean? Have 4 sitting defenders, have 1 sitting defensive midfielder, add an extra creative player, even if it's Pogba in centre mid. Just stop teams from scoring so easily again. Like, we are getting cut open by shit teams. Never mind Liverpool. Like, we've been really bad. I expected a lot more this season. I knew the defensive mid was going to hurt us, but I know Varane has been injured, Maguire was out injured, so it hasn't been great. But you look at Wan-Bissaka, you look at Luke Shaw, they've been so poor.
Yeah, I just want to, you've touched on that, Maguire's been out, but like, as a neutral and an outsider looking in, like I personally feel like Maguire has been at fault for more goals than.
Yeah.
You're probably better off with him out of. Look, I know you've touched on, Lindelof or Bailey, whatever, but I don't know. Like, take your pick of the fucking tree if you ask me.
At this point, I'd consider getting him out and sticking Scott McTominay in a centre back beside Varane or something.
McTominay has played that role for Scotland in a back three.
I think Lindelof isn't good enough. Eric Bailly is too dangerous in there. McTominay
maybe that's
has
what you need. A bit of fucking fight.
McTominay has some qualities that could be good for a centre back, and he can also ping a ball and pick out a pass from deep. When he's playing in that centre defensive mid role, he's just running like a headless chicken all over the pitch trying to get the ball. He's completely out of the game. Him and Fred are completely out of every game. They need lots of changes.
If there is any positives to take out of it for you, Craig, it's only your worst performance since last Wednesday. So
thank you.
On to the next one.
And until Saturday.
There's another performance in Manchester worth speaking about as well.
But I mean, you said something
Paul
there.
Scholes did a great job on his daughter's toenails.
What
didn't he?
the fuck was that?
That is a whole different podcast. That one.
What is that about? What were they thinking?
Like,
that is what United are doing to people. And I just
he had none left, so he moved on.
That's an insane.
Scary is what it was.
How can he go on and be a
She's
pundit?
not a baby either, isn't she? A teenager.
Yeah, she's like 19 or something.
It's a strange one, but that's what they do up north. You touched on something.
We have that saying too.
You touched on something there about United. You don't think they're going to get full spot now, or it's going to be difficult. Do you think they've Danish actually? Do you think they've opened a door now for full spot? I mean, the weekend. All right, you had Everton dropping points, but you've had City won. They're probably going to be title contenders. Leicester back to winning ways. West Ham won again. Arsenal back to winning ways.
You're laughing. You have the same amount of points as Arsenal.
I was about to say no.
I can't take that serious. Yeah, we are in a crisis, and they're doing well, and we're on the same points.
Yeah, well, give it a few weeks, and they're above you.
Yeah, exactly.
Danish, is the race for full wide open?
Sorry.
Is the race for full spot?
Yeah,
wide
I
open
think it's
now?
very open. And what I'm seeing in the news is Arsenal going to be part of the four? Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, what I'm seeing is in the news is Arsenal going to be top four?
Yeah.
Then is Man United going to be top four?
I don't think that's the news. I think you must be watching the comedy channel, mate.
No, Brendan. We're a little bit behind here in Scandinavia. It's dog ages. But I mean, there is a notion is that there was a lot of teams doing better than Man United, and I think it's a wide open game. I saw a headline that was quite interesting that Arsenal fighting relegation with 1 point less than United fighting within the top spots, and I think that's the Premier League. But really, the other thing that I'm hearing and Danish commentators picking on this is Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool. Those are the three teams that are going to be interesting to watch this year. It is a 3-team race for the number 1, 2, and 3 in the Premiership. So, I mean, I'm not hearing any whispers about, other than all it out. I'm not hearing that top 4 either. So, when we were talking about is the season over for Man United, now you can turn it around. I'm a Real Madrid fan. The season has been over and left behind a lot of times, even when we won the Champions League back in the day. So it can turn around in the next week. But there's just so many commentators that are saying, there's no way that's turning around. It's not a top 4 team right now.
Well, moving on to some genuine title contenders, Shane. I mean, the weekend.
Fuck me.
It was 7-0, but I mean, they done it at a canter. I don't think I've ever seen a 7-0 that it was that. I don't know. It wasn't really even exciting in the end, was it?
Yeah, no. Listen, we spoke last week about how Chelsea are a bit more fluid without Lukaku, etc. And I've said numerous times I do think we will find rhythm with him in that team. But I also mentioned we score goals from all over the pitch. We now have 13 different goal scorers this year. If you look at the goals the other day, we had Reece James, Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Combe Academy graduates. Then you look over at Southampton there, you had Broha and Livramento, 2 Academy graduates scoring again. With Abraham playing week in, week out for Roma. A few more. Tomori playing for AC Milan. Things look good from a Chelsea point of view. We're bringing these young players through. Loftus-Cheek came on again the other day, and he looks like a reinvigorated player. I've seen glimpses of it last year when he was at Hughes. He has that natural ability to drive with the ball.
God, fuck me, must have been the one game you picked. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's when you're playing in a shit team, it's hard to fucking stand out, isn't it? But listen, no, you know what? It was too easy. It was, Norwich were harder to break down when they got a man sent off. It was easy. It was great for our confidence. That will breed confidence, especially, for Mason Mount. I said it 2 weeks ago when he was out injured. Once we get him back and, he'll have that little bit of rest, because Tuchel had said, he's recovered from his injury, but I'm not going to rush him. The boy needs a break. He played all summer. He trained all summer, and he was phenomenal. He was absolutely brilliant. We've got, a goal scoring left back that, dipped out of form in Alonso, and we brought in another goal scoring left back, Ben Chilwell, who has been flying. Yeah. But he's always had that in his game. You've seen it in glimpses at Leicester, where he was obviously expected to be a little bit more reserved going forward. Now he's playing as a wing back. He's a bit more licensed to move and roam. Reece James, smash and finish again the other day. He is... It's hard to believe people actually thought Wan-Bissaka was better than him 12 months ago. It's fucking scandalous.
People thought a lot of things 12 months ago, mate.
Yeah. But look, you know what? We were shit hot. My only concern would be if we come up against a better team. Havertz, that was his chance the other day. He was lackadaisy on the ball. He didn't offer much. People are saying, false nine is his best role. It's where he played at Leverkusen. But I don't know. I'm still waiting on him to come good. A lot of money, young shoulders.